The conflict between the Russian Defense Ministry and Wagner mercenaries chief Yevgeny Prigozhin is getting out of the Kremlin's control, analysts say. After all, even Putin's personal intervention on the side of the military department did not bring any results. Wagner mercenaries still refuse to sign contracts with the Ministry of Defense.
Briefly, yes. This conflict clearly indicates that Putin's vertical, in the old sense of the word, has collapsed and deformed. I think that on the one hand, this gives a clear impression to many that Putin is not building his own leadership system in the same way as before, and is clearly demonstrating some weakness.
According to the political scientists, Prigozhin's media activity does great harm to the reputation of the Russian authorities and Putin personally. At the same time, there are no signs that the head of the Wagner mercenaries is going to stop making dirty linen in public, and vice versa. He tries to give publicity to the apparatus struggle.
I came to hand over the documents to Minister of Defense Sergei Kuzegetovich Shoigu. They didn't accept my letter, but I came personally. As in previous times, I will have to hand over letters to the Minister of Defense in the public sphere. Wagner acts as it wants. The Ministry of Defense continues its half-hearted attempts to force Wagner into submission. That is, we see that this conflict, perhaps among other things, will be a signal that Vladimir Putin can no longer effectively force the conflicting elites to carry out some compromise deals that he, as a moderator of the process, is implementing. Therefore, I think that we are waiting for a story to continue.
Experts note that the confrontation within Russia is leading to the destruction of the authoritarian vertical of power that Putin has been building for years. The card played by Prigozhin could lead to major upheavals in Russia as the country enters an unstable period in its history.
In fact, such conflicts only undermine the management structure, the management system. I think that the Prigozhin-Shoigu conflict just hit quite well on the purely Putin vertical. I do not draw long-term conclusions. This does not mean that the regime will fall in 3 or 6 months, but it will definitely continue the path of such gradual degradation.
Analysts say that Putin got into such a predicament amid the failures of his army in Ukraine. Prigozhin, at the same time, is trying to take advantage of the situation by accumulating capricious moods around him, all for the sake of increasing his rating and influence. Not the last argument is also the fact that Prigozhin owns a personal army of many thousand.
All this creates an extremely unstable configuration, such as a new power configuration in the Russian elite. And it is unstable. A large number of armed people turned out to be in Russia. The number of people who deal with weapons in an active form is increasing, especially in the south of Russia and in central Russia now. All this, of course, is the basis for a possible, very serious aggravation, which will also involve the civilian population, of course.
The confrontation between the Ministry of Defense and Prigozhin is just the tip of the iceberg. The protracted confrontation indicates big problems within the system and the presence of other conflicts. And most importantly, Putin, who for many years of his rule ensured the balance of power, can no longer be the guarantor of the stability of his elites. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Vasyl Panasyuk, UATV News.